More than just a spooky party, just how much of an impact Halloween has right here in Las Vegas. Plus, the new attractions bringing in the cash. And
we're probably going to see some flooding.
Bracing for a monstrous storm, the help East Coasters will be getting from Nevadans in the next few days as Hurricane Sandy rolls in. Plus, a push from celebrities, the big names in Las Vegas today joining presidential campaigns and the problems they say Nevadans are facing this upcoming election.
Now, Nevada's first choice for news. This is Channel 8 News Now, Weekend Edition.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Patranya Bhoolsuwan in for Chris Saldaña. Halloween may still be a few days away, but this weekend is when many of the parties are happening, and that means big money for local businesses, especially downtown venues that are hoping to bring back the crowds and their spending power. 8 News Now, Cassandra Garcia is live from Fremont Street, where some of the biggest Halloween festivities are taking place. Cassandra?
Well, that's right. The president of the Fremont Street Experience says this is the place to be for any event Halloween. There's a haunted house, and chances are no matter what you're into, there's something here for you. If you're looking to get the living daylight scared out of you, you're not alone.
The lights were flashing, and so it was like we couldn't find our way out. It was kind of scary.
Don't leave me here, please! The asylum on Fremont Street has a reputation of being anything but pleasant, and during Halloween, that's a good thing.
The asylum has a local following of people that will go wherever we are.
The Fremont Experience has been glorified for the last 4 years, attracting much more than just tourists and bringing in big bucks for local businesses.
That's what they wanted, to bring the locals in and yet something good enough that the tourists will come in and be happy with what they've done.
Hey, where are you going? Get back here!
Attractions like the asylum and Halloween-themed bands are all part of a month-long event called October Fright Fest, and folks can't seem to get enough of it. And it's just not all haunted houses.
It's a great environment to blend in with wearing our costumes. Nobody knows exactly what's going on.
Tonight, the Las Vegas flash mob had everyone at a standstill when zombies came out of nowhere and performed to a classic.
It's just a one time in the year where we can dress however we want and can nobody judge or say anything about, oh, why is that person wearing that?
And it's that experience that organizers say keep thousands coming back year after year.
This area is really nice. There's nothing like this back at home.
And the president of the Fremont Street Experience says they expect about 25,000 people here on Halloween, and they expect about 95% of them to be in full costume. And take a listen to this. The National Retail Federation says they expect people to spend more on Halloween this year compared to last year. It's anticipated consumers in Nevada will spend $118 million on Halloween this year. Cassandra Garcia, 8 News Now.
All right, now downtown isn't the only spooky destination this weekend. Here's a look at Las Vegas Boulevard, courtesy of our traffic cameras. And most strip casinos and nightclubs, as always, are always hosting their own Halloween theme parties. There are also several haunted attractions out there as well. To get all the party goers home safely, AAA is once again offering its Tipsy Tow program this Halloween. You can get a free ride along with a free tow for your car for up to 5 miles from your home. The offer is only good, though, for the night of October 31st. The number to call is 1-800-222-4357, and you don't have to be a AAA member to use this service. And the Department of Public Safety, meanwhile, is focusing on keeping sex offenders away from kids this Halloween. Operation Scarecrow directs offenders to steer clear of any Halloween events involving children and to turn off their porch lights when kids are out trick-or-treating. Metro Police also have a website that helps track register sex offenders. For a link to the site, you can go to our 8 News Now website and log on to that. Well, the East Coast is bracing for a monstrous storm that only just getting started tonight. Hurricane Sandy is already bringing high winds and rains to several states, and it could eventually impact millions of people along the eastern seaboard and the mid-Atlantic. A total of 4 Red Cross volunteers will head to the East Coast to help residents prepare for the storm and help give out emergency supplies as needed. Brooke Flake is one of them who will be headed to the Disaster Operations Center in Washington, D.C. to help with emergency fundraising.
We need to raise a lot of money for this operation because we're already pre-positioning shelter supplies and food and everything that we would need to help people in a disaster situation.
The other volunteers will be heading to Maryland and New York to help out. Other local staff members are being asked to clear their schedules as much as they can to focus on supporting response. Well, to give you a scope of just how massive Hurricane Sandy is, here's a time lapse we put together by NASA. At the time of these pictures, the storm was packing winds of around 75 miles per hour. Several states have already declared state of emergencies, and Randall Pinkston has more on what's being done to keep the storm damage at bay.
Crews along the East Coast are boarding up businesses and homes.
Put another one in there.
The approaching storm is threatening some 60 million people. Sandy is already kicking up rough surf and winds in North Carolina. Mandatory evacuation orders are in effect for some coastal communities in Delaware and New Jersey.
Heeding the warning, and we're going. And I'm hoping that I have a house when I come back.
In Atlantic City, officials ordered casinos to close Sunday afternoon. Sandy's storm surge could cause major flooding.
We have the full moon in effect with multiple tide cycles. We have to go through more than one high tide during this event, and that's just going to only pile up the water that much higher.
Here in New York City, transit officials are keeping an especially close eye on the path of the storm. The mayor and governor are considering shutting down the entire transit system to avoid flooding the trains. Forecasters predict Sandy could merge with two other winter weather systems to become a superstorm, bringing high winds, torrential rain, and heavy snow to a third of the country. Widespread power outages are another concern. Crews from Illinois are already en route to the East Coast, ready to help get electricity back on in hard-hit areas. Sandy may also put a damper on Halloween plans.
On Wednesday, they said it's the least chance of rain, so hopefully it'll hold out and let them go trick-or-treating.
Forecasters say the storm could linger through midweek. Randall Pinkston, CBS News, Coney Island, New York.
Well, Sandy has already caused a lot of damage and even some deaths in the Caribbean. The superstorm wrecked islands from Haiti to Cuba. Just take a look at what's left in parts of Cuba here. Streets are littered with downed trees, crumbled buildings, and torn up houses. More than 500,000 people there are also going without water and electricity right now. Well, a major earthquake is prompting a tsunami warning for parts of Hawaii, Alaska, and Canada. The 7.7 magnitude quake was centered near British Columbia in the Charlotte Islands area. It was followed by a 5.8 magnitude aftershock. The U.S. Coast Guard is now warning people in southern Alaska and the Hawaiian Islands to move away from the coastline as a precaution. Are lending their star power to both President Barack Obama and Republican challenger Mitt Romney to try and win over voters right here in Nevada.
This is a huge election, and there's a huge difference between these candidates. We're in a lot of trouble if we don't turn this thing around economically.
Well, actors John Voight, Kelsey Grammer, and John Ratzenberger made phone calls and greeted Mitt Romney supporters at the Team Nevada headquarters in Summerlin. Volunteers also took to the phones, trying to gather some last-minute support as well. Across town at a Democratic rally today, former NBA star Magic Johnson and fashion designer Kimora Lee Simmons came out in support of President Obama.
I consider myself to be this 47% that Romney feels can be written off and forgotten about. I am that 47%. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, so those are students, those are children, those are the elderly. I mean, this is a middle-class community. That's where I come from.
Both Simmons and Johnson spoke to the crowd of people about the importance of early voting, and nearly 1/4 of all registered voters in Nevada have already cast their ballots. After just 1 week of early voting, more than 211,000 people in Clark County went to the polls. Statewide, the number is 301,000. Early voting began last Friday and runs through next Friday, November 2nd. For information about early voting locations, you can go to our website, 8newsnow.com, and use the keyword vote. Voter guides or candidate propaganda coming up. The election pamphlets handed out to employees at some strip hotels that have some people asking and crying foul. Plus, celebrating Nevada's birthday, the massive parade to mark 148 years of statehood. And later, why a Supreme Court case could have you thinking twice before trying to sell your stuff over the internet.
Nevada's first choice for news. This is Channel 8 News Now, Weekend Edition.
A voter guy being passed out at 2 strip casinos is now being criticized for being too pro-Mitt Romney. The Huffington Post said that it confirmed with management at Las Vegas Sands Corporation that supervisors were instructed to pass out the Nevada Issues Guide to employees at the Venetian and the Palazzo. Well, this particular pamphlet compares President Obama and Romney's stances in 3 areas: energy, healthcare, and taxes. Well, some say the guide suggests the president's stance on those issues would hurt the working class. A Sands spokesperson apparently told the Huffington Post the pamphlets were nonpartisan. By the way, the voters' guide were produced by an organization with no official party ties called Job Creator Solutions, but that organization was co-founded by former Republican presidential candidate Herman Cain. Officials at Zion National Park in Utah are investigating the death of a climber. The 49-year-old man fell down about 40 feet while on a climbing trip in the Angels Landing area yesterday. 3 other people were with him at the time. 20 members of the Zion search and rescue team responded to the accident, but the man did not survive his injuries. This is the 2nd death at Zion National Park this year. Well, thousands of Nevadans flooded lined the streets of Clay Capital today to celebrate the Silver State's 148th birthday. Carson City was the site of the annual Nevada Day Parade this afternoon. About 40,000 people showed up to watch nearly 200 parade entries make their way down the route.
It's beautiful. We got to see the flyover, the memorial wall over at Mills Park. All of our friends are here. Everybody has a great time.
All the cars and the blow-ups and stuff, and all the people that are doing it.
Well, Nevada Day is officially on October 31st, but the state observes the holiday the last Friday in October. A campaign stop interrupted the major emergency that had Senator Marco Rubio leaving Mitt Romney's side and escorted away by police. Plus, hot air balloons hit the skies. Why this lovely view will actually keep future searches for missing persons going here in our area. And the rebels get off to a great start in San Diego, but were they able to make it hold up? Scott Bemis will have all the details coming up in sports.
Nevada's first choice for news. This is Channel 8 News Now, Weekend Edition.
Florida Senator Marco Rubio had to stop campaigning for Republican presidential nominee Mitt Romney today after his 12-year-old daughter was involved in a serious accident. We have video from earlier this evening of Rubio speaking to some police officers in Florida after that crash. The accident happened in a Miami neighborhood, and a family friend said it involved a golf cart. Rubio's daughter is in the hospital, but in stable condition. Doctors are keeping her overnight for observation. Well, this all came one day just after Nevada Senator and Majority Leader Harry Reid was involved in a traffic accident right here in Las Vegas. It happened yesterday afternoon on the I-15 near Sahara. Reid was taken to the hospital but was released just a few hours later. The senator had left an event at the National Atomic Testing Museum and was on his way to an interview with Spanish language newspaper El Mundo. One of Jerry Sandusky's victims is now using his past experiences to help victims everywhere. Aaron Fisher was one of several boys molested by the Penn State assistant coach. Today, he made his first public appearance in his hometown since the trial to speak out against sexual abuse and high school bullying.
When my endeavor began, I never imagined how it would turn out. The fear and shame associated with sexual abuse can ruin someone, and I hope that I can help other victims to have a voice.
Our children go to school to learn. We entrust our children to the schools, and they have let us down.
Fisher has also written a book to help others. It's called Silent No More and is meant to be a resource to victims on how they can report abuse. An upcoming Supreme Court case could keep you from selling some of your old stuff online. The High Court will hear arguments about whether overseas companies have any say on whether or not you can resell your products after you buy them. This all started after a publisher sued a student for selling cheap versions of textbooks he had bought overseas. Now people with online resale businesses are afraid it will put them out of business.
I think it's ridiculous. I mean, I've known about it because it could affect my business so horribly, but I've kind of pushed it back because I'm like, how could this possibly happen? The repercussions would be ridiculous.
Big ticket items the lawsuit could impact include iPhones, computers, TVs, and even some clothing. But attorneys who support the lawsuit says that they're concerned mostly about books and movies. They want to make sure the producers have exclusive rights to distribute their products in the U.S. Well, if you don't have any plans for the next weekend, be sure to check out the Las Vegas Balloon Festival. Dozens of hot air balloons will fill the Las Vegas sky for 3 days of fun and flying. The event is free to attend, and the proceeds raised will help out the nonprofit organization Friends of Metro Search and Rescue.
This is an organization which supports our search and rescue volunteers, providing them with things that the department can't provide them. Additional money for training, travel for training, equipment, things like that.
Well, the Las Vegas Balloon Festival and Carnival will take place at Southern Hills Hospital on Sunset and Fort Apache. That's happening next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Tethered balloon rides start at $10 and full trips are $250. Log on to 8newsnow.com with the keyword balloon for more information. As we have been telling you, Hurricane Sandy is making a lot of people nervous on the East Coast. Brennan has more now on that, along with our local forecast for this weekend and beyond.
Let's start with the big news as far as weather goes, and that's Hurricane Sandy. As we move across to the East Coast here, you can see just how big. Here's the epicenter, the eye of the storm, a huge swath of land being affected, over 800 miles, and they could see 50-mile-per-hour winds. It's expected to hit around Monday night into Tuesday morning, as we could see a lot of flooding. Now, the winds over in Las Vegas, not so bad, under 5 miles per hour, much calmer than the East Coast is going to see over the next couple of days. So really, you wouldn't want to live anywhere else but Las Vegas this time of year. You can see 71 degrees over at Phoenix right now, 64 degrees, not too hot, not too cold. We're not at 30 degrees like Casper over there, and 61 over at Tallahassee. So I wouldn't want to live anywhere but right here. As you can see, satellite radar showing some very light winds, very light clouds up in the high elevations. They're very thin clouds, so not a whole lot as far as the satellite radar showing. Over the next couple of days, Sunday night into Monday morning, it's looking very clear and nice. It's going to be crisp, clear, and cool, very sunny. You're going to want to wear sunblock. 80 degrees over at Lake Mead. This is where I want to be. Mostly clear, light winds tomorrow. 62 your high. Have fun. Just a beautiful, gorgeous day. Could you imagine being on the boat, sitting out in the sun? 64 degrees your high over at Mount Charleston, and getting very cold at night at 36 degrees, clear. 5 to 7 mile per hour wind. So gorgeous over there as well. 56 degrees tonight, cooling down to the mid 50s. You're going to want to wear a jacket. I've noticed that it's really starting to get where the jacket's not so much an option anymore. You need to wear it. It's getting cold. 80 degrees today and low 80s to high 70s for the rest of your week, and have a happy Halloween on Wednesday. Back to you, Patranya.
All right, thank you, Brian. Scott is here. Busy day for college football.
Oh, yeah. I included the Rebel football team, of course, traveling to San Diego, trying to snap that road losing streak. Why they ended up wasting some early chances. Plus, new ballpark, same result. How pitching and defense did the trick again for Patranya's Giants in the World Series. And talking some Rebel basketball as well, what Dave Rice is doing differently this year to try to keep his team focused. Sports is next.
From 8 News Now, sports with Scott Bemis.
Hey there, everybody. Well, at 1-7, there was no chance of a winning season for the UNLV football team, but the Rebels trying to at least finish strong, build a little momentum heading into next year. First step towards that goal beginning tonight at San Diego State. Rebs actually got off to a great start in this one. Early first, Tim Cornette busting one big into some open space. You're not going to catch him. He's got sprinter speed. 64 yards to the house. Extra point is missed, though. 6-0 Rebs. Then, on the next possession, the Rebs get a break. Recovering the fumble, one of 3 turnovers the Rebs forced in the first half. But the offense could do nothing with it. They turn it over on downs. Late first, Aztecs then get on the board. 12-yard TD to their outstanding tight end, Gavin Escobar. They'd get another one before the half, take a 14-6 lead. Then in the third, Adam Dingwell drops the snap, but still finds Colin Lockett. It's 21-6. Rebs don't give up. Nick Sherry to Devontae Davis. Watch this catch. Terrific body control in the corner of the end zone. They're within 8, but down the stretch, The Aztecs running game just taking over. Adam Muema finishing with 143 yards on 21 carries. This run leads to a field goal that pretty much salts it away. Rebs fall to 1-8, lose their 20th straight on the road, 24-13. Meanwhile, Boise State stays undefeated in the Mountain West with a convincing win at Wyoming, while Fresno comes back from a 21-zip deficit in Albuquerque. And in a battle of winless teams in the conference, Colorado State gets by Hawaii. To the huge matchup in Norman, Oklahoma. BCS number 5 and undefeated Notre Dame visiting number 8, the Sooners. Lots of doubters out there when it comes to the Irish, but early on they make a statement. Sierra Wood right up the gut. 62 yards later, it's 7-3 Irish. Now tied at 13 late in the fourth. Everett Golson just plowing his way into the end zone. Gets the go-ahead score. Theoretic puts it away. Irish win this one 30-13. They're the only team in the country with 4 wins against top 25 teams. Out west, Arizona trying to pull a surprise against BCS number 9, USC. Trojan receiver Marquise Lee having a huge day. 16 catches, Pac-12 record, 345 yards. Trojans were up 21-13 at the half, but the Trojans also committed 5 turnovers. 13 penalties, gave up 600 yards nearly themselves. So the Hail Mary, they need it. Oh, Marquise Lee almost had it. Might have been an all-time record if he had come down with it for yardage in a game. National title hopes for the Trojans are gone. I'm sad, I'm crying. 39-36, your final. Meantime, Alabama continues to play like the nation's top-ranked team. Look at that, they win big. While BCS number 2, Florida, turns it over 6 times in a loss to Georgia. K-State rolls, as does Oregon. Oregon State not as lucky against Washington. Florida State all over Duke. South Carolina edging Tennessee, but loses star running back Marcus Lattimore to a gruesome knee injury. And Rutgers falls from the ranks of the unbeaten to Kent State. All right, through 2 games, Giants have done what many expected the Tigers to do. Dominate the World Series with some solid hitting and excellent pitching. World Series moving back to Detroit for Game 3 tonight. Giants were able to scratch out a couple runs in the second to take the early lead. Then, big sequence in the 5th. Ryan Vogelsong, he's got the bases loaded, gets out of it. It was bases loaded, 1 out, but he gets out of the jam. He went 5 2/3 of shutout baseball. After that, it was Tim Lincecum, Sergio Romo, some nice defense, shutting down the Tigers. Giants win this one 2-zip. They can clinch with Matt Cain on the mound tomorrow night. Night 4 of the PBR World Finals here locally at the Thomas & Mack. Justin Kuhn on Mickey Mouse. Ooh, no Mickey Mouse here. Kuhn would be able to walk off under his own power. Meantime, one of the rides of the night belonging to Robson Palermo. He's covered his first 4 bulls in this World Finals, moved into first place in the overall standings at the event. Marco Iguchi won the round. Action continues tomorrow afternoon. Finally, Runner Rebels getting ranked 18th in the AP poll yesterday was the latest bit of news that has expectations soaring through the roof for this year's team. So if you're head coach Dave Rice, how are you managing these expectations, keeping the team focused? Well, one thing he's doing, he's having a few more closed practices this year.
I just felt like we needed a few days a week, 1, maybe 2 days a week, where we could just be in there as a team and we could really get after it. Doesn't mean we don't go hard when people are there, but just thought it was a subtle reminder to our players of what's at stake and how much hard work there is ahead.
Now, Dave did stress to me that these closed practices are going to be very rare, and he would love to see the fans out there when the practices are open to the fans. He's one of the most, open, easygoing coaches out there, so he encourages the fans to come out.
All right, and get the wins.
Yeah, exactly. We're almost there, basketball season. It's going to be fun.
All right, thank you, Scott. Well, coming up, the surprise of a lifetime, how 80s rocker Billy Idol was able to make a huge impression on one of his biggest fans, all while helping out local charities. We'll be right back.
This portion of 8 News Now is brought to you by Senior Dimensions.
Well, finally tonight, one Billy Idol fan got the surprise of his life. The 80s icon played at his birthday party. I know, rock the cradle. I say yeah! It's got to be pretty cool. Michael Henriksen of Seattle actually spent 2 years trying to get the British rocker and his band to play for his birthday, and for his 26th birthday this year, all those efforts paid off. Billy Idol agreed to come sing and even got his 80s cover band, the guy who his birthday party actually got.
I don't think it was just somebody dressed up as Billy Idol.
It's really cool. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.